A 5.23 information security for use of cloud services. Right, let's talk about the cloud. Not the fluffy things in the sky, but the techie kind that's probably running half of your business. 523 is one of the new kids on the block. It's one of the new controls, and it's all about managing your cloud service providers properly. Along with 5.19 through to 5.22, it forms a mini series on managing your suppliers. And if you're using cloud, this is especially for you. And spoiler alert, most of us are, even when we don't realize. So, what does the standard actually say? It says that processes for acquisition, use, management, and exit from cloud services shall be established in accordance with the organization's information security requirements. Translation: you need a plan for picking, using, and, when needed, leaving your cloud services. That plan needs to protect your data and keep your businesses secure. So, why is this a thing? Well, these days, nearly every business, from the smallest startup to the biggest global company, uses cloud in some way. And even if you've only got your own servers humming away in a locked room somewhere, chances are you're still using cloud-based tools for things like email, accounting, HR, sales, customer services, marketing, video creation. There's a whole plethora of tools out there. Now, here's the bit people often forget. Cloud just means someone else's computer. So while you're outsourcing convenience, you're not outsourcing responsibility. Remember, the mantra is you cannot outsource risk. You own it. But before we get into the detail, let's just go through a very quick story. We once visited a secure cloud provider helping thousands of businesses host their websites. Sounded great until we walked in. Their server room where these computers were housed, there was no locked doors, no access controls, no aircon, and the servers were overheating regularly. No security training for staff, just a website that said, "We are secure." And guess what? Their customers never asked any questions. They just assumed the word cloud meant safe. That's why this control exists. And that's why it matters. So what does the auditor expect to see around this particular control in relation to you and your business? Well, the auditor isn't after a specific policy, but they will expect to see that you have a good understanding of what cloud services that you're using. Again, Annex A 5.19 should help with that quite a bit. That you have done some form of due diligence before signing up, that you are monitoring and reviewing these suppliers on a regular basis. Again, Annex A 5.22 covers this quite a bit. That you have a plan for changing providers if needed. Essentially, the auditor is looking for confidence that your cloud choices aren't made with crossed fingers and good vibes and hopes and prayers and dreams, but with real information about risk, performance, and security. So what do you need to do? Well, start by listing all your cloud providers, not just Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, because that's cloud storage typically. Go department by department and ask your finance team, well, what cloud software do you use? Do you use QuickBooks, Sage, Xero, for instance, to name but three? What about HR? Do they use Breathe HR or People HR? What about sales? Do you have HubSpot? Do you have Salesforce? Marketing? Do you use MailChimp? Maybe you use Canva? What about IT? Do they have Zendesk, Datto, NetApp, and again, a plethora of tools? And speaking of IT, of course, IT will have implemented many cloud services and protection tools for you as a business. What due diligence has been performed? You'll probably discover services you didn't even realize were cloud-based. But once you have your list, look at what data they handle. Check their security. They usually publish white papers or security overviews for some of these larger organizations like Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure or Google. You will find security papers that detail what's in place and how your data is protected. Ask your departments if the service that is still working as well as you would expect it to. And keep a note of any decisions to change or update those services. And then again, following a set process, if you do need to exit and move to another provider, follow a change management process, which we'll cover on another one of the controls later. So it's question time now. One of the questions that we get asked quite regularly is cloud secure? Again, it's a big question and the answer can be quite complex, but I'm going to keep it really simple. In general, yes, cloud is secure because the companies that have invested in these cloud infrastructures are selling their services to multi-million people around the globe. Their raison d'etre is to offer resilience and reliance in their services. So yes, they are secure. So tech giants are spending billions on this, their infrastructure to protect the information that you store with them. But think of it this way. Banks are secure, but bank accounts still get hacked. It's often the customer who lets the attackers in with bad passwords and dodgy downloads or weak access controls. So my question to you is, do you think a bank is secure? Well, the answer is typically yes. But are bank accounts secure? The answer is possibly no. So you need to think about how that relates into cloud. In terms of cloud security, cloud providers typically, yes, secure. But as a hacker, as a criminal, I'm not attacking the cloud. I'm attacking the entry points. That's you, that's me, that's our devices. Now, in terms of this particular control, again, like many of these in the supplier part, you don't need to have any sort of technical know-how. You just need to have good, meaningful conversations with your business. You'll need to bring in your IT team typically, but you will absolutely be needing to speak to your functions in each of the departments because there may be cloud services that your IT departments aren't aware of, because at the end of the day, there usually isn't a requirement to download and install any software. It's just cloud systems are accessed through a browser. So in final closing on this particular control, all I would say is don't let the cloud become a fog of assumptions. You need to shine a light on every provider, cloud included, and make sure that you're living and breathing supplier management, including in the cloud. That will ensure your safety and also the assurances of ISO 27001. I hope that's been useful. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, good luck. See you soon.